I'm very excited for today's episode because today we're finally gonna work out which of these writing instruments is best. But first, an important disclaimer for sensitive viewers: there will be jokes in this video. So what do you think? Would it be the ballpoint pen or the fountain pen? Let's see what we got to work with here. Your regular pencil, well, it's a bendy pencil, which is quite cool, but other than that, it's a regular pen. It's bent now. Then we have a mechanical pencil, which is your filler pencil. Neat little device. The mechanical pen, which is a fineliner, provides a consistent line width. An ordinary ballpoint pen. And I chose to use a proper one from Bic, I guess, because these chewy old ones, these marketing pens, they're rubbish. The gel pen. This is a Pilot Friction. And, of course, not to be missed here, the $3 fountain pen. No brand. Let's find out how good it actually holds up against these other contenders. So we're gonna end this discussion today. Alright, here, the aim of this video is to end it once and for all. So we're gonna find out scientifically what pen is best. To be clear, this test is completely objective. I'm completely biased. I'm not gonna tell what pen. And I'm gonna try and be as fair in my judgment as humanly possible. And straight off the bat, all of these pens are $3 or less. So most of them are about $1 each. Hey, we wanna keep things scientific here, huh? Let's find out. Now, if you like these kind of videos, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe down below. I'm putting a lot of effort into this channel and it's all about improving your handwriting so you love to write. Now let's get on with it, shall we? Alright, the contenders are getting ready next door. No, they're not. They're pens. So how should we go about doing this? Well, I want to test the pens on a couple of things. So I actually came up with a speed writing test. It's just one sentence. I'm writing one sentence and timing it, and I'm also gonna test the quality of the ink, the waterproofness of the ink. I want to try how UV resistant, how light resistant the ink is. And for that, I'm gonna show you in a later video after I've stuck all these cards behind the window, which will finally, once and for all, settle the debate. After this video, we're done. You know what pen is best. We start with the speed test. Fight! The roll. And that's a quick start for the fountain pen and the fineliner as well. And the pencil is not far behind, but it's a neck and neck between the fountain pen and the fineliner. And the ballpoint does seem to have some problems with writing fast. It's not keeping up. The fountain pen, the fineliner, neck and neck. The gel pen not far behind. And the pencil is keeping up the best. Is it gonna be the fountain pen? Is it gonna be the fineliner? It's gonna be the fountain pen is up. Fountain pen! The fountain pen's the winner! And the once so promising pencil finishes and the ballpoint ends last. Didn't see that one coming. So the fastest writer is actually the fountain pen. And a good second place, the fineliner. Those two were really fast. The slowest two, the pencil. Thought it was so easy to use. It started quickly as well, but it's a slow writer, turns out. And the ballpoint, well, it had its proprietary dry start. Let's say, slow starter. So that's its own fault. It actually wrote pretty well and pretty fast, but it wasn't the winner. It was the slowest, in fact. And the other two were pretty unremarkable, I guess. Up next is accuracy. So which of these pens writes the most accurate? And I'm gonna try and write as small as humanly possible and see what is most legible. Alright, so let's dive into it. And we're gonna start off in the same order with the pencil. And I'm just so excited to see what each of these pens is gonna do accuracy wise. This is gonna take quite a while, I guess. So let's sit back, relax, What do you... what is this guy? And can we speed this up? Maybe? Thank you! Alright, ladies and gents, we're gonna speed things up. Of course, with all these pens, the nib size really matters, and the fountain pen uses a medium nib, and the gel pen uses a 0.7 nib. So to keep things fair, I will also use a gel pen in blue in a 0.5mm nib, and a very fine lined fountain pen, which is a gold nib shaver fine. So if we're gonna stick to the cheap guns, it's gonna be the mechanical pencil and probably the fineliner that's the most accurate, but with better nibs it's definitely the fountain pen, once again. We're testing the ink quality by doing a smudge test. So I just jot down these stripes and then try and smudge them after 5, 10, 15, 20 seconds. And first I used a very scientific apparatus for this, but then I thought, what the heck, it's gonna be my hand and fingers anyway, so might as well use that. So mechanical pencil up next, and I imagine, yes, it's exactly the same as the pencil. Yeah, this ain't gonna get worse or better. So that's the thing with pencils. They don't smudge a lot, but they will continue to smudge over time. So the ink doesn't dry. It's not ink, so I'm very interested. Yeah, that smudges a little. That's way better. And that's almost perfect, actually. I'm impressed with the ballpoint. So up next will be the fineliner, aka your mechanical pen. And this is a wetter pen, so I imagine this is... well, that's not bad at all. And that's almost entirely dry now. Yeah, so after 15 seconds that ink is completely dried out. And it doesn't smudge anymore. That's quite good. So the gel pen, I suppose, is pretty bad. Yeah, that smudges. But not as bad as I thought. Still smudges. Yeah, and the ink is completely dry at 15 seconds, so that dries pretty well. And up next is the wettest of the pens, the fountain pen. And I suppose this one, this loses big time here. Oh my god. I'm afraid yeah, this is bad. Not even dry after 15 seconds. In my language we call this fingerschmutzen. So there you have it. The fountain pen is definitely the wettest of the pens, which is why it writes so well in my opinion. But the ink does smudge. To be honest, you can use other inks in fountain pens which will make them way better. The pencil, it will continue smudging even after years and years. So my guess is that isn't as permanent, but let's find out with the water resistance test up next. So the water resistance test consists of drawing grids, and we're doing a double water resistance test here. So as you can see, I've already done one round, and it's already a bit obvious which pens are going to probably win. and it ain't gonna be the fountain pen, that's for sure. And the fineliner isn't as good as well. And incredibly, the pencils are holding up very well, and the ballpoint as well. So those three I'd consider already winners. And the fineliner, it smudges a lot, but it is still readable. The gel pen, on the other hand, seems like disappearing entirely from the paper. Well, it is still legible, I suppose. And the fountain pen is the clear loser here. So the last test we did was a regular writing sample on cheap paper, regular paper, and thicker paper. So what did we have to work with? Well, this rubbish notepad, and this paper is actually 60 grams per square meter. I think you can whistle on it if you try hard enough. The second one is my regular notepad, which is 80 grams per square meter, and that amounts to regular printer paper. And the last one was this 100 grams ivory paper, which is very nice. And I just did a quick sample on each of these paper types, and it turns out most of the pens write pretty well on all paper sorts. However, the wetter pens do perform better on the more expensive, more thicker paper. On the 100 gram paper though, the fountain pen feathered quite a bit. Let's end with a quick word on each pen. Yeah, I don't like pencils. That's my problem, I guess. But it's quite alright, it's a bit bent. The fineliner is just, well, listen to this. I really don't like the fineliner. It's too scratchy for me, too dry, it's very dry. So, not my favorite. Then we have the gel pen, which is quite alright, but it provides this bumpy, clunky feedback. Listen to this. So it feels kind of cheap because of that. However, it does write quite nicely. This ballpoint, well, I have to confess something. This was the ballpoint pen I used to write with before switching over to fountain pens, and I very much like the bigs. They're not dry at all. I think they add a lubricant to their oil or something, because it flows quite well for a ballpoint. But the thing with these pens, and it's the same goes for these pens, they're too thin for me, for my taste. I get a lot of hand fatigue, cramping up very quickly because of the thin barrel. I like them a bit thicker, so the fountain pen really does it for me. And also it has a bit more weight to it, which I quite like. It writes under its own weight as well, which is not something you could say about the pencils. You have to press down really hard. All in all, here are the grades I give these pens. Starting off with the pencil. The mechanical pencil. The fineliner. The ballpoint. The gel pen. And last but not least, a $3 fountain pen.